Hello everybody, welcome to our next podcast. This week we're going to be talking about wall preparation for so you end up with a superb tiling job rather than a dodgy tiling job. The importance of good prep is absolutely paramount to make sure walls are straight and plumb. Typically if the walls are within 3 mil of plumb, they'll be fine for tiling because the tiler can make good with the adhesive to pick up to 3 mil. Now, if the walls are out more than 3 mil, and believe me, we come across some jobs where the walls top to bottom can be out by as much as 20 mil, although it's not regular, it does happen. Now in those cases, where the levels are out 10 mil or more, they require a fair bit of extra work on the framing, which is not a huge undertaking for people who know what they're doing. It means plating the existing studs with new pine studs to give you a plumb finish for the wall surface to be replastered and made good for the tiling. The importance of getting the walls plumb is very important, also for the installation of vanities, baths and other cabinetry, because if the walls are not plumb, then you will end up with ugly gaps which can only be caulked or filled, and excessive caulk lines look really ugly and untidy. So it's very important. Likewise with the floors. If the floors are plus or minus 3 mil, that's no big drama, but the floors can often need to be re-levelled as well, with the existing joists plated or shaved to correct the levels, yellow tongue subfloor put in so that everything is perfectly square and level, ready for waterproofing. The importance of getting everything right prior to the waterproofing and tiling is absolutely paramount, and in fact that's where most of the cost of a bathroom renovation comes in, is the work that you don't see behind the tiles and the finished bathroom. That's very important to understand, because if you're getting cut price work done, often those steps are what is missing, and you don't know that because all you're seeing is the finished bathroom. And if it's not being done right, it has no longevity, and you're likely to be redoing it in 5 years' time rather than lasting 30 years as it should. That good preparation accounts for waterproofing as well. It's a largely misunderstood part of the process. The builders have to follow the manufacturer's recommendations on the waterproofing in regards to its A, mix, and B, application, to make sure it's done to Australian building standards and codes, and that the manufacturer's recommendations of the product are followed. So if you're using a licensed builder, generally this is what you're going to get. Bottom line is the waterproofing is only as strong as the substructure that it goes onto, and if it's done to Australian building standards and codes, the waterproofing won't be compromised unless there's shoddy or wobbly preparation to the structure and substructure beneath. Very important steps, and as I say, I can't say it too many times, these are the works that you often don't see and aren't aware of prior to the tiling being done. So the preparation is where it's all at. The labour and cost implications of tiling to the ceiling versus tiling partial walls, well, look, that really depends on the size of your bathroom, but generally your average 4 to 5 square metre bathroom, the difference is likely to be about 6 to 8 square metres of tiles at around square metre, and labour to lay them at about $65 a square metre. So look, roughly a difference of around $900 tiling to the ceiling as opposed to tiling halfway up the wall. Obviously those figures increase as the size of the bathroom enlarges, but generally that's a pretty good guide. That's generally allowing for large format tiles, which 600 by 600s or 300 by 600s. If you're going to do feature tiling, such as chevron patterns, Kit Kat tiles, finger tiles, mosaics and subway tiling, the labour content in applying those is a lot greater, generally double the price of a large format tile in labour cost, plus your tiles obviously. It might not seem much, but particularly in laying a chevron type pattern or a feature tile pattern that needs to be aligned and squared up, it takes the tilers a lot more labour time to prepare and lay those particular types of tiles. And look, generally in the scheme of things, bathroom floor can be done in a day, the wall's done in another day. But if you've got a feature tile, it starts to break into that additional day's tiling into another day. And when tilers lose half a day on the next job by doing a feature tile wall, which takes the time out of the current job, then they charge for that time loss. So that's where the additional cost comes in any form of feature tiling. So it's good to understand that, because it's not just the cost of the tiles and the labour. There are cost penalties in there that the tilers charge for loss of time on the next job. So that's about it for the tiling. As you're aware, there is a lot of different tiles on the market, and they vary in cost anywhere from $15 a square metre right up to $400 a square metre, depending on what you're looking at. We don't recommend natural stone for bathrooms unless you are aware that there is an additional cost involved in sealing the surface, because most of the home finished stone is not sealed and needs to be in a room that's subject to moisture and humidity, whereas porcelain or ceramic tiles are what we recommend. The only thing to watch out with porcelain tiles is porcelain tiles will chip very easily. So if you've got any finishes like mitered corners and such, they can chip very, very easily. So we do recommend a ceramic tile in those instances. Tiles, when they can be finished at windows and doors, we can remove the architraves and put tile trims so it's tiled right up to the reveals if you wish, or otherwise we can just tile up to the corner, up to the architraves around the doors and the windows in place. Anyway, all of this is generally explained to you at the time of quotation. So I'll leave you with that. That's it for tiling. Thanks for joining this podcast. I hope you're finding them informative, and until next time, cheers.